how IMF policies are destroying African countries. And I'll be taking a case study of the country called Nigeria, which is originally my country. Today's topic is going to be very, very serious, and I need to talk about this on this channel because the policies of IMF, which is the International Monetary Funds, and the World Bank, is directly impacting everybody in Africa. These are the people that said that this association organization was created to help alleviate poverty and the suffering in African countries. But what we are seeing right from the inception of this IMF and World Bank is that it is a tool or an arm of neocolonialism that has been designed to impoverish African countries, Latin American countries, the so-called countries that are called the third world countries. These are countries that have been formerly colonized and exploited by colonial countries, by colonial powers, and in order to continue to suppress them, they create these organizations called IMF and World Bank, and they are using this to continuously oppress these people to make sure that they never rise, to make sure that they never get to the level of a so-called first world country. And at the same time, they claim to be helping these countries. They claim to be helping Nigeria, they claim to be helping Africa, but since they have created these bodies, organizations, they have never helped any country to succeed. We have never seen any success story from IMF or World Bank concerning one African country. All the success stories of the IMF and World Bank is you only find this in Europe, but in Africa, zero. Today, I want to talk about this issue because it is affecting us here in Africa and especially in Nigeria. And this is a very serious issue, and we need to know about it to talk about it. They say a problem shared is half solved, okay? And this kind of things. How do you cope when your country is hell-bent on following the policies of IMF to hell? This is what I want to share today. How do you cope if you are living in a country like Nigeria, which they are the so-called government of the day, have decided to implement all the policies of IMF to the latter? What can you do to save yourself or to remedy the situation or to at least cushion some of the effects? These are the things that I will be discussing today so that we can be able to get some ideas on how to move forward and not to fall in the same pit that this country is going to. Because it's clear that Nigeria is going into a state of quagmire, a state of whereby we will very soon have civil unrests with the hardship that is currently being mounted on the people daily by our present government of the day. But first, let's talk about this IMF. This IMF is a body that is created by the Western world to help us. But what does IMF do? IMF in Africa, if you see all their policy papers that they write for each country, IMF is not interested in developing any country to make sure the country be at par with Europe. The same people that colonize us, they are the IMF. People that started a transatlantic slave trade, that brought the Christian religion to Africa, people that are currently exploiting and stealing our natural resources, sucking it for peanuts. These are the same people that are in the IMF. What you need to know about the Western powers is that it is not in their best interests to see Africa free. It is not in their best interests to see any African country that is politically stable, economically stable, and financially buoyant or sovereign. It is not in their best interests. If African country is as developed as UK or France, do you think France will have any power, the so-called power that they claim that they have, or United Kingdom, or so-called America that is trying to be the policeman of the world, the bully, the bulldog of the world, the one that is responsible for committing all the crimes? At the same time, they want to be the policeman, judge, jury, and executioner. If you do their will, it's okay. If you don't do their will, you are a terrorist or something like that. It is not in the best interest of America or the Paris Club or the G7 to see Africa be on the same table with them, to see Africans equal with them. This is not their dream. It will never happen. Because if we are self-sufficient, we will not need them for anything. Okay, we'll be independent. We'll be doing our own thing. We'll be living our continent, enjoying ourselves, enjoying our natural resources. And then we don't need these people for anything. And guess what? The whole of Europe, they don't have any natural resources. Even though they pretend to, they don't have any. Zero. There is no gold mine in the whole of the United Kingdom. But all the gold of Africa is there. There is no single natural resources in Switzerland. Switzerland is landlocked. No seaport is there. But all the wealth of the world is in their banks' votes. Many countries in Europe are like this. They are empty of natural resources. Gold, diamonds, cobalt, all the things that they use to make your smartphones today. Lithium, all these things that they don't have them in Europe. They know all these things. They need to take all these things and they are not ready to pay a fair price for it. So the only thing that they can do is to steal it, or pretend to be helping you, or telling you that it does not matter, give you religion, tell you that your jewelries, your gold and diamonds is all earthly possessions. Heaven, you have better ones in heaven. This one does not matter. You should give it away to the poor. Give it away to the church. Who controls the church? Is it not them? Give it away to the Catholic Church. They take it to Rome and the Pope will sit on it. Is it not them? They control the Catholic Church. They will tell you all these stories to steal from you. They will steal from you with the religion. They will steal from you with their economic policy. They will steal from you with their financial policy. Everything about any contact they make with you is to steal from you. For IMF and World Bank coming to Africa saying they want to help you, these are the same crooks, wolf in sheep clothing, the same slave traders of the Royal Niger Company, the same people that enslaved your ancestors now have a change of heart. They have not even decided to pay restitution. No. They are not talking about paying restitution, even apologizing for slave trade. All our artifact is still in their museum. But still yet, they want to help us grow. They want to give us policies, recommendations that will make us rise to their level, be the same level with them, to be rubbing shoulders with them. And you believe this, hook, line, and sinker, then you are a fool. Sorry to say this. There is no single African country that IMF and World Bank policy have rise to a level of sustainability or economic buoyancy. Show me one. You will never see one in Africa. There is no single one in Latin America. So what these countries are doing is that they have not realized, the ones that are smart, when you are smart, you dish IMF policies, you refuse to borrow money from them. Don't take those loans. Those loans are debt traps. Okay? Since when IMF have been making policies for Nigeria, I have checked all their recommendations. IMF have never for one day made any recommendation that Nigerian refineries must work. We have 4 national refineries in Nigeria, 4 major refineries owned by the country. Since they started, they only work about 5 years, they stop. IMF have never said, Nigeria people, you need to put on your refinery to start pumping your, converting, refining your oil to fuel you. You need to stop importation. There is no single document from IMF that you will see where they make this recommendation for Nigeria. There is no single document. And we know that a big problem in Nigeria is this oil that we have. For whatever reason, our refineries are not working, and these refineries are being maintained every year. They pay billions of dollars to maintain them. They often pay workers, but they don't refine anything. We import fuel. We will pump crude oil from the ground. Nigeria will sell it very cheap. We sell it to Shell, to Chevron, to foreign oil companies, that they will take it to their country or to their refineries overseas, refine it, and sell very expensive back to Nigeria. This is the format that they have been using. We have something they call NLPC, Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, which is like the main bottleneck and most corrupt organization in the country called Nigeria. I cannot imagine how a whole oil company will not be able to say, okay, we are NNPC. One refinery is not working. One is not working. This is what we see. IMF in their magnanimity have never made any recommendation that NNPC, you must work. You must stop this nonsense shenanigans. Your refineries must work for your country to improve. IMF in their whole life, since they have been coming to Nigeria, since they have been making policies, they have never made one policy to say your refineries must. So it is obvious that IMF policies are not designed. They don't recommend Nigeria to create industries by themselves. The main thing that you see that IMF stress on their recommendations are loans for if they don't do that, they will talk of FDI, foreign direct investments, whereby they will ask you to come to get foreigners to come and. So what we have in these situations is that the IMF, in all its so-called kindness. So it's quite funny. I'm sorry, my network is just going up and down. I don't know if this is the IMF people. I have two and internet. Each of them is just cutting up and down like high fish. But let's continue. They are not really interested in allowing African countries to be independent. They want African countries to be continuously dependent on European country for everything. And the debts that you have is that they use those debts to control you. When they give out these loans, they give the loans in such a way that you will not be able to pay back the loans, and you will not be able to use it for the projects that you want to use it. And they know, of course, that a lot of these monies are going to be embezzled. It's going to be embezzled by corrupt officials who they have already connived with. These are officials that they have connived with, they have helped to facilitate their putting them into office. They support them to get there. They know that these people are compromised already. So it is due to the network not being stable. So as I was saying, the policies of IMF are not in the best interests of these African countries. So what we have is that these African countries will keep going back to the IMF and the World Bank for more and more loans, which comes with stringent requirements as they proceed further. And this will get the country to a state of serious or perpetual. They will have to do whatever it tells them to do. As a result of that, we see more and more foreign countries coming in, and they will say, okay, you are going to be paying you so and so for this very low amount of money for these natural resources, and we are going to be doing this for the next 100 years, the next 50 years, the next 200 years until you pay back that money. So what happens is that they practically get your natural resources for free or next to nothing. Why they keep supplementing you with aids? They'll be giving you free grants here and there. Sometimes they claim to be giving you free medicine, free seeds, free something to assist you. This assist is just that they are helping you, you are owing them money, and you can't pay back the money. They are getting your natural resources for free. Then they still dash you money. They still give you free money that you will have so that you will not die. So you will find yourself getting grateful, being grateful for the free money that they are giving you. The aids here and there, the little grants here and there, that they will say they are doing some humanitarian work, they give you this for free so that to assist your economy because your economy is down. And while they are doing this, you get to do whatever they tell you to do. So what we have now in Nigeria is the playbook of IMF. For some years now, the Nigerian government have been borrowing money continuously for various projects. Some of them are materializing, some of them are not. And they borrowed so much, they just cannot pay back. So they have to implement the policies of IMF to balance the so-called statement of account of the country. So now this new government now floated the naira. Now we're having currency fluctuations that is over the roof. We have inflations that is more than galloping inflation right now in the country, and with very high interest rates. This is what we have now in Nigeria. And of course, they have removed the fuel subsidy. For a country like us that have lots of oil and natural resources, fuel is very, very expensive now in Nigeria to buy. A liter of fuel goes for about 1,200 naira. I woke up this morning to discover that the NNPC have just increased it again. Right now, this morning, the NNPC have increased fuel, so we'll be paying 1,300 as minimum very soon for fuel. Congratulations to Nigeria. But the serious matter is that we having an economy that is not balanced, and this is permitting all other sectors of the economy. And what will happen is an implosion. Everything is now very expensive in the country. Every single thing is expensive right now, from basic necessities, light bill, even water, foods, agricultural products. Every single thing now is very, very expensive, and people cannot cope. So the question is now, what can you do to solve problems? And when your government is hell-bent on following IMF policies, what you can do is this. You limit the way you spend money. Quite naturally, we don't have any manufacturing base in a lot of countries in Africa. We import most of the things we have. We import a lot of things from abroad, from cars to clothes to even food items, computers, phones. We import practically almost everything. So to solve these kind of problems, you must limit the kind of goods you buy. Those luxury goods, your iPhones, expensive computer, expensive cars, you have to reduce your appetite for those kind of things. This is not the time to be flaunting your wealth or living an extravagant life in a country like Nigeria right now. With the current economic situation, many people cannot even afford 3 square meals. So what naturally happens is increased crime rates. There's a lot of insecurity problems. A lot of people are into kidnapping, armed robbery, scams, cyber scams, in what they call Yahoo. People need to meet up. Of course, there's a lot of criminal men of dogs out there too, promising you a better life if you will be paying tithes to them. All these are legalized and scam fraudulent activities. And of course, you have what we call the brain drain. A lot of our youths are running away from the country because there is no jobs. We don't have factories. We don't have manufacturing industries. We don't just have a private sector that can absorb the hundreds of thousands of youths that are graduating every year from the university. So we have a lot of unemployed people in Nigeria. Unemployed, underemployed people. People have been at home for 5 years, 10 years with no jobs. in Nigeria. We know many of them. This is a country where you see a graduate with a BSc, MSc, master's degree riding what they call keke or selling recharge card on the roadside. This is a country like that. A lot of people are educated in Nigeria, but they have no jobs. So now most people believe that education is a scam in the country because the youth are no longer the future of tomorrow. How can the youth be future of tomorrow when we have leaders like our presidents that are over 80 years, 90 years old men still running the country? Where is the opportunity for the youths? When are we going to be leaders of tomorrow? Are we going to get gray hair first before we become leaders of tomorrow? The old people are refusing to retire because they are scared of what will happen if they retire. What will happen now, you see a lot of government workers are going to court to swear affidavits of they finish university when they are 12 years old because they don't want to retire at the age of 60 or 65. We have a lot of problems in the country due to the IMF policies of taking loans to build infrastructures that we don't see. IMF will never tell you to build factories to create employment. They will tell you to keep bringing foreign direct investment, bringing people in. How can you bring foreigners to come and develop your country when your country does not have security? How can you bring in foreigners to come when your country does not have power supply and steady power supply? Nigeria till now does not have steady power supply. Any moment from now, I'm speaking with you, they can take these lights, and once they take this light, I will have to find an alternative source of light. I will light candle. I am not ashamed to light candle on my YouTube channel. I already have one. In case they take light, I can use this one to find my way to on the torchlight to continue the broadcast. Okay? This is the kind of country you live in. Your country cannot be saying that instead of them to build their infrastructure, to build their power supply, they will be waiting for foreigners to come and help you build your own power supply. This is laziness. Okay? No country can develop with this kind of mentality. Imagine somebody that have a house. You say this is your house. Your house does not have its own power supply. You are waiting for a visitor to come and give you power supply in your house. You are waiting for a visitor to come and be cooking for you to eat in your own house. It is stupidity for a visitor to come and cook food for you in your own house and sell the food to you. Then you claim you are the owner of the house, you're buying the food and eating it. You can't cook for yourself. You cannot do things for yourself. You can't create employment for your own children. A lot of our youth are running out. There's this thing they call Jackpa syndrome. People are running out of the country to go to UK, to go to Canada, to go to America, to go and wash plates, to go and wash dead bodies, to go and be cleaning white people's buttocks, to go and be cleaning white people's yansh for a living. For me, this is a curse. Nigeria is like it's a country that is under a curse. The curse is created by the government to destroy the future of its own youth by not creating enabling environments for the youth and the citizens to strive. Imagine a country that cannot pay minimum wage of 100,000 naira, which is just about let me say $70 to its people. But the president can go and buy a yacht of $5 billion. The same president again can go and buy an Escalade of $1 billion for himself. But you cannot pay minimum wage of $100 to your own citizens. But you can see the government spending extravagantly, can build a mansion for the vice president costing $21 billion. But you can't pay $100 minimum wage to your workers, to your workers. This is the kind of country we find ourselves today, where greed, wickedness, and this laziness is the order of the day. Now we have these evil people in our government houses, in our so-called state house called Asu Rock, ruling us. These politicians do not care for the masses. And what they are doing now, they are obviously following the playbook of IMF. The playbook of bringing in foreign investors and keep on borrowing. When we have keep on borrowing and borrowing and borrowing into the future, what do you think will happen to the next generation? 50 years from now, children that are going to be born will be born into indebtedness. They are born to become slaves, to become indebted to the Western world. This is a curse. Okay? The way it happens in Nigeria, the government borrows the money, the citizens pay the price, they pay that debt. So if you are from a country called Nigeria and you find yourself in this situation, how do you solve the problem? Or if you are from any other African country or so-called third world country, and then your government is hell-bent on putting you, enslaving you under the orders of IMF and World Bank, how do you solve this problem? This is what I want to talk today. Well, the problem is that once again, you need to be proactive. If you find yourself in this situation, there are things that you can do. The first thing is to criticize the government, quite naturally. Protest against this kind of things, which the Nigeria Labour Congress and other interest groups have started doing. You have to speak out. You cannot keep quiet. You must speak out. Okay? Silence is consent. You must talk that this thing is killing you. People need to come out to occupy the government or to state this their views that this is against us or this is killing us. But you have a problem again whereby people come out, the government will send police to go and kill you. So you risk dying if you come outside to complain again. As we have seen in previous parts before, when people come out, they go still now. Some people are still in prison being tried for treason, for protesting against the harsh economic policies the government are trying. They see what I told you. They don't take light too. I don't tell you, say the government, they go take light just now. Now, so they want to develop this country. You see it? And I also told you that I am ready in case they also take the light too. This is what we find in the country right now. So how do you cope with this situation? You prepare yourself for the situation. Okay? You are ready to take the bull by the horns. So one thing is that you need to cut down on spending because we don't know when this situation will end. Since the beginning of this new government, the country have gone through a lot of crisis, and the inflation rate is more than 200%. From just 750 naira per liter for fuel, we are now buying it 1,200 naira now. And this money, if we go to 1,300 naira per liter, this is the current situation of things now. So you need to cut down on spending. That is one thing you need to do. Cut down on spending. Then you also need to go into agriculture. Now, IMF is trying to force Nigeria to adopt GMO. They are saying that GMO is healthy, that GMO can be seen as an alternative source of food for Nigerians and Africans because it is cheap, and they say it is safe. They say it does not give much stress to grow because it is artificial, and they say it is the same as the natural thing. So one of the IMF's policies is for Nigeria to start growing GMO products in the country. I have seen some so-called think tanks are already trying to adopt this policy. They want to now bring in GMO. What they are not saying that this GMO is cancerous. And once we start growing GMO seeds, the seeds of the GMO rice and beans, they are patented. You cannot use the seed from a GMO rice to regrow another rice. It dies. You can only use it once. So once those GMO products come into Nigeria and our farmers start growing them, we have to be buying seeds constantly from Western countries. So this is a way to destroy our food security. Once we get into this situation, it is over for Nigeria. And this is where they want to take us to. So there is need for us to resist and reject this GMO intrusion they are trying to bring into the country, because this is what they want to push us to. Once you get to this level, what happened in India is going to happen here. Our farmers will now, they will come that they are giving us loans, or giving the farmers agricultural loans to buy these seeds, and then when they grow the crop, they can pay back You know that you cannot predict the weather. Most of these farmers will go into debt. Many of them cannot deliver on time. There might be droughts, there might be storms, there might be flooding that will destroy the farms. It can be artificial or natural, whatever case, you must pay back your loan. Once you start receiving these seeds, and in Nigeria, we have to sign a contract with them that any farmer that plants these seeds inside their farm without any permission will go to jail. So once the wind blows this seed into another person's farm, and they discover the crops in your farm, you will be held liable. So what will happen now? This is going to totally destroy the food security of Nigeria, and we will be totally dependent on them. And this will totally destroy the country. This is where they are going. Already there have been a report from Sahara reporters of how Bill Gates made use of this Bill Gates Melina Foundation to get data from farmers in Nigeria. And they now gave these data to Boko Haram or terrorists to start killing these farmers. These farmers are natural seed farmers in Nigeria that are being attacked by terrorists. They are being killed, so that we're not going to have a lot of farmers going into agriculture, and then we have to rely on GMO products that they want to introduce to the country. This is another plan by the so-called IMF and World Bank Neocolonization plan to attack our food security so that they can gain control of it. They say, he who feeds you controls you. And what they want to give us is genetically modified foods that are cancerous, that will pollute the natural system of our body, and will kill us. This is what they want to bring. This is one of their plans. Then they're also talking about allowing the country to pass laws that will bring gay people to make homosexuality legal in our law, so that they can introduce LGBT guidelines or rules to our country. This is something that is against our culture, it's against our natural disposition to the family values. They want Nigerian and African countries to adopt this into our constitution, so that gay people can have rights to be performing their madness in public, and they will be protected. So this is part of their policy that they will introduce. As we have been taking so much loans from them, we have to accept so-called gay rights as part of our culture. This is something that will be very difficult to implement in Africa, because it's against the African spirit. And no matter how hard they have tried this, despite our neck deepness in religion, a lot of so-called religious people will reject this thing. This is another thing they are bringing to destroy the country. Then also our educational system is not developed. The kind of courses that they give to, that they say they are teaching, is not the courses that will develop us. They are not teaching us things that we can use to create our own factories. They are teaching us the kind of things that we can use to work and not reproduce or invent our own equipments or machineries. So we also need to work on that as well. So if you are from this kind of country where IMF have these policies, and your government is following them, you need to find a way to speak against it. You need to find a way to protect yourself. You protect yourself by limiting your dependence on foreign goods, because the main idea is that once they destroy your manufacturing sector, you have to be buying things from them. So your appetite for foreign goods, especially from Western world, you must destroy that appetite. Those iPhones, those expensive things, those things you are buying from the Western world that they want you to buy from them, those cars, you need to focus on buying from other people that are not hell-bent on destroying you. I recommend you buying stuff from China, if you can, to replace those Western goods. Because if you see, it's not the Chinese people that are implementing these evil policies to destroy us directly. Although they may have their own agenda, but it is not that deadly as the so-called Western agenda. It is not Chinese people that come to colonize Africa. They themselves were also colonized. They know what it is to be colonized. And they know how to remove themselves from that kind of thing. So you should not blame them if they are coming to Africa. Of course, people will want to go to places that they have not, where they can benefit from. But we can learn from them a lot of things. It is better for us to even look towards other countries that are not hell-bent on putting us under lock and key. So some goods that may be so expensive for you to buy from Europe, you can buy it from China, and you can reduce that money. At least the money is not going to those people that want to enslave you. The money is going somewhere else. You must give that money to somebody, whether you like it or not. So you have to choose who you are going to give that money to. So it will be good for people, our own people, to also engage in agriculture. Those of you that have land, you can buy land and start growing food, or starting a poultry, starting a fish pond. We must be self-sufficient in food, because it would appear that some people are trying to destroy our food security so that they can poison us with genetically modified foods. So we must invest in food security. If you have any piece of land, you must try to grow something. Food is very expensive now in many parts of Africa, especially in Nigeria. Food is very, very expensive. So we must all go back to farming. We must go back to the drawing boards. We must try to also be patronizing locally made goods, as in made in Nigeria goods, made in African goods. It should be your first priority before you think of buying foreign goods. What this will do is that it will help to boost our local economy. It will help to make sure that the money we are making flows within Nigeria. It does not go out of the country. And it will help to grow our local businesses. So we should be very patient with our local businesses, and we should not complain too much if some of them have issues. Of course, it will not be like the same like the foreign wars. Okay, but at least monkey not fine, but mama like them. We should try to focus on patronizing our local products inside Africa before we think of bringing anything from the so-called Western world. We must be very, very prudent with how we spend our money. And those luxurious goods from those expensive countries, those goods that are not necessary, from the designer companies, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, those unnecessary things, we should stop buying them. When you buy those kind of goods, you are giving your money to the slave master, and you are enabling the slave master to continue to enslave you. So we need to be very, very prudent on where we send our money to, the kind of products we are buying. Where is this dollar? Who are we facilitating? Who are we empowering with this money we are spending? The kind of cars, we must be careful where the cars are coming from, who gets the money at the hands, and how we are doing this thing. So we need to focus on growing our local economy, because it is clear that IMF is killing us, and our government is hell-bent on following this policy to the latter, because it seems that they have been kind of blackmailed on their hooks with the debts that they have taken from IMF. So we need to do our own thing to break out of this. Recently, the Nigerian government came with this so-called student loan. This is the same student loan scheme that they have in America, that have placed many American students in indebtedness, whereby the government will say you can take loan to go to university. After graduating, you start paying back the loan. There are a lot of youths in America that have taken these student loans. After graduating, they could not get a job, and the loan is accumulating interest. So many Americans, they have student loan debts they have not been able to pay for more than 10 years, 20 years. The same policy our stupid government go and carry, say it's bringing development, that they're bringing student loan. Many graduates in Nigeria do not even have a job. How are you sure that if you take a student loan to go to university in Nigeria, you graduate, you are going to get a job? When there have been people on grant for more than 10, 15 years, they have not gotten a job. Our government is bringing that student loan is a policy that will bring development, that they are bringing education to everybody, including the poorest of the poor. This is another trap that will destroy many Nigerian youths, because they will graduate from that school, take that student loan, and they will not see a job, they will not get a job. And then the loan will be packing up interest and interest and interest and interest until these students, they will graduate, they will not get job, then they will commit suicide. Many of them will start committing suicide because they cannot get job. So I do not see the student loan as any positive thing that they have brought into Nigeria. It is a scheme to indebt almost any young person that will apply for that thing, because you must pay back that loan. We see this in America. Anytime any American politician want to contest for presidency, one of their key points is they are going to forgive student loan. And then they got into the office, they never forgive the student loan. We see this with Obama. He promised that when he is elected, he will forgive student loan. He did not forgive the debts. Joe Biden did the same thing. He's going to forgive student loan. He got in there. He did not forgive it. Now Kamala Harris and the other one, Donald Trump, is coming. Part of their point, they are going to forgive student loan. They will never forgive it, because these people that gave you that money, they are businessmen. And they must make profit and they will get paid. Same policy is what our government have brought to Nigeria now. To enslave Nigerian youths, kill them before they grow, indebt them before they even start to work. A country that more than 70% of the graduates don't even have a job. You are saying you are bringing student loan for somebody to finish university, and then they will not still get a job, and then they have to be paying debts. What is the point of going to school when after finishing university you still go and learn handwork? There are many graduates after finishing university, they have to go and learn tailoring, they go and learn sewing, baking of cake, how to do hair, how to fix weave-on. What is the point when many graduates are still driving keke and driving taxis in the country, frying a car around the street, selling bole? What is the point of going to school when at the end of the day you are still going to do a laborer work to feed your family? What is the point? School na scam for Nigeria. If you are going to school, just know that you are going there to learn how to read and write, how to calculate, arithmetics, because this is what we do every day. Some people say they read maths, some people know arithmetics, how to calculate percentage. Finish. We have people that are in our government house that don't have any university degree. We have so many government officials that don't even went to the university, but they are ruling the country. In a place like Nigeria, education does not really count. Connection counts. Corruption counts. Who do you know counts. Okay? So, the policies of IMF is designed to destroy Nigeria. If you follow that policy, check out our GDP to debt ratio. It is over the roof. Nigeria is going to implode very soon if our current government continue to follow these IMF policies. Now they are taxing every little thing. They are taxing everybody. Even recently, the government came up with a plan to go and tax people's bank accounts. Everything is now being under a tax in Nigeria now. Where is this money going to? We are not seeing any development. And people in government keep buying expensive, living luxury life and buying expensive articles all the time. But the poor people are suffering. And we are following IMF policy. So it is obvious that IMF policy is not designed to help Africa. It is designed to put us in perpetual indebtedness until we get to a place where we have a civil war. Then they will not come in to say they want to solve the problem of the civil war. Then we start funding in different militia groups in the country to make it perpetual disorganized while they are stealing our natural resources. Same thing they have been doing in Congo, whereby they have over 100 rebel groups fighting, and at the same time they are mining natural resources. Planes are flying in from America and France, landing inside the jungle, carrying natural resources and flying away, and the country is just like that. I believe this is the way they want to get Nigeria to get Nigeria to a state where we have different militia groups, Boko Haram, ISWAP, and all sort of criminal elements in the country, and they will start kidnapping people and draining natural resources. And the people never pay taxes. These foreign countries, they never pay taxes, and Nigeria will be in a total state of insecurity and disarray. And then they'll be benefiting from this situation. We can never be strong. This is where IMF is taking us to. And we must avoid going on this journey by protecting ourselves, uh, speaking to our governments to do the right thing, to abandon these policies, and focusing on building our local industries. This is the only thing that will save us from IMF and World Bank. If we follow these policies, we are going straight to hell. Okay, we're going to end up like Sudan or Somalia or Congo. This is where this IMF policies will take us to. IMF is not interested in we developing our own manufacturing sector. It's not interested in we being independent. It's not interested in we developing loan free. Because if we are independent, then there is no need for them. And we are going to be equal with the Western world. The Caucasian people don't want us to be equal with them. It is not in their interest for us to be equal with them. So they will keep deceiving us by giving us policies that will destroy us. If you follow these policies, you are going to go into debt and slavery. And they know this. So we should be very careful with any white man telling us that they want to help you. When a white person tells you they want to help you, especially the Caucasian people from IMF, the Paris Club, or the so-called G7, World Bank, these are the people that they are using to front. These are the people, this is the place where they decide your destiny of how to enslave you. IMF have never made any policy that Nigeria must repair and reboot their refineries to manufacture their own fuel. They have never said this. All they talk about is foreign direct investment and taking loans from morning to night. This is what they are interested in. Then buying GMO products. We have insecurity issues. We have serious development issues. They are not interested in doing that. So we need to look for alternative source of people that will help us. A good option would be China and Russia. These are people that are against the IMF, of course, quite naturally. And their policy seems to be more genuine. All the recent infrastructures in Africa have been built by the Chinese people. It is much more better. And Chinese people, when they give you loans, they come in to build the infrastructure for you, to make sure that the money is used for that very project. Not the way IMF and World Bank will give this money to corrupt officials who they know will embezzle these funds. And then we come back again with cap in hands. So we need to be very proactive, and we need to hold our own government accountable for this kind of thing. So if possible, taking them to courts to stop some of this unnecessary borrowing and to straighten things out. So these are some of the things that I have identified concerning this issue. So you can always find a way to cope in this situation. Try to go into agriculture. Start any kind of farming you can do. If it's fish farming, poultry, or just crop, you must go into agriculture. Very, very important. Then stop the buying of luxury items that you don't need. We must stop that. This is time for saving money. And of course, we must be very, very vigilant and security conscious as well. And we must find ways to hold our government accountable to stop this unnecessary borrowing. So these are the things that we say today on this channel. I believe I've said enough, and questions or comments are welcome. Please like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you have not gotten my book, you need to get this book. This is a book called Whispers of Famente, Pathways to Ascension, for people that want to make contact with our Kemetic ancestral deities. This book will help you. It's a very powerful book that provides guidelines on how to do spell workings that you can use to make contact with these spirits. It will open your eyes into the true nature of these deities. The deities, they are not evil spirits. They are our ancestral deities that are connected to us. Okay? So we are their physical representation. So you need to have this knowledge to connect back, to build your own capacity and your conscious identity, and to start living life based on your own terms. So you need to be self-reliant, and you need to focus on self-love and how to be independent. Okay, independent mindedness is to be help you a lot with that. If you open your eyes to what is going on, then if you want to know how to do spells, this one walking in the shadow of the gods, I have over 200 spells for here. There's spells for health, love, wellness, and protection. All good things is here. You get this book, very very good book. It's just only $100, and it will solve many problems for you. Then this one is a quantum physics and African spirituality. If you want to know about this so-called elusive subject called quantum physics, this subject that the Western world is saying is for only genius. It is just about African spirituality. It is a study of the minutest particles of nature, the visible and invisible aspect of nature. Quantum physics is that aspect of science that deals with the spirit world. Okay, the Western people call it quantum physics. We call it African spirituality. So if you want to know about the interrelationship between these two subjects, you get this book. It's just $50, and the book is very powerful. This is the first book written on quantum physics in the history of Nigeria, and everything you need to know about the subject, from the origin of God, composition of God, Gargut, grand unified almighty theory. You want to know about time travel, space travel, quantum entanglements. You want to know about the 666 conundrum, the atomic structure, nuclear physics, plasma physics, everything you want to know about the subject, the foundation. You see, a very powerful subject. When you read this book, you will not look at African spirituality the same way. This book will give you a sense of pride, wisdom, deep wisdom, and understanding of the nature of African spirituality, and the importance, the role that it plays in the evolution of humanity. It will open your eyes, and it will give you that knowledge that they have refused to teach you in school, and the things that they don't teach you in your church, that they want you to be a slave forever. This book will free you from mental slavery. All the scientific evidence are here, historical evidence, etymological evidence, a lot of references. So this book is a very powerful book that you must read, that will open your eye, expose you to the world to the spirit world, so you will understand what is going on. It will put you on the same level with the space age. We are now in the space age now. People are talking about going to space now. People are building rockets. You need to update your body of knowledge, and remove yourself from shackles of mental slavery and religious indoctrination, and start doing the things that normal people are supposed to be doing now. Doing what your mates they do, thinking like your mates. Okay, now what you don't know, now your mates they pass you. So you need the information in this book to update your body of knowledge, so that you can throw away that dirty Bible or that dirty Quran or religious book they are using to tie your eyes. Update yourself now. Time not due. There's no basket for rotten mango. Okay, knowledge is power. There's no knowledge that is not power. So your African knowledge is the most powerful stuff that you have, that will free you. This is why they are hiding it from you. This is why they want to put you in perpetual debts. This is why they don't want you to break free. Because if you have this power, they cannot do anything to you. And it is your birthright. So do not waste time. Do not procrastinate. Get this book and stay ahead of the game. Okay, so the three of them is just $300, and you have this knowledge, and nobody can stop you. Nobody can be able to tell you any more lies. So these three books are very powerful books. You need to get your hands on them. Then if you want to learn African spirituality, I teach it on this channel. I have a 6 months program where I teach it from the history to the sciences to the metaphysics and how to make contact with your African deities. It's just $600. You can pay monthly. It's not expensive. If you also want to do your oracle tarot divination, I do all those things here. If you have any kind of issues, serious illnesses, problems, or court cases, things that defy natural remedies, you can bring it here. I don't do free work, by the way. Don't think that you can just come here and inundate me with all your problems. This is not a charity case thing that they pay consultation fee, and I don't work for free. So before you start rushing here, make your skin see full small, okay? So we run the matter here, we treat all those cases, we use the principles of quantum physics to solve all those problems, okay? And it always happens. We get results here. So you can contact me for that. And if you want to buy your spiritual materials, your cowries, native shocks, miracle stone, thunderstone, meditation beads, herbs or ointments, I have all these things. You can contact me for all these things as well. Apart from that, I thank you very much, and I'll be seeing you in the subsequent videos as usual. So take care and bye. Peace.